All right, Balance Station, time for some updates. Updates. All right, just give you guys a second to come online on this little impromptu. Yeah. All right, so been a couple of discussion threads that I figured I would kind of do some updated clarification and chitty chat about. Those being Carlos, you're always there, man. You're always on whenever I'm on. About EMF bombs in travel, and then also about mold testing. So EMF concerns while traveling and mold testing. Those have been the things that need a little bit more discussion and context. So we shall see what's going on with all that. Okay. So without further ado, a couple of things. You'll see these threads that I'm referring to in The Nation, and you'll just want to turn your attention to the dialogue that has happened in there. Okay, so a couple of things. One of them was talking about millimeter wave scans at airports. Was it a big deal or not? Now, I have been preaching against EMF toxicity and impact for 25 years, my entire career, okay? And it's becoming something relatively new for a lot of people because of technology and so forth. So anyways, here's the thing. Well, welcome to the party, Erica. Now it's not a helmet party. All right, so here's the thing. When you're traveling, you're in a sea swimming in various EMFs, okay? Now remember, EMFs, it's a big range. Everything is EMF, but EMF specifically, we're talking about most of the time in this travel thing is radio frequency or microwaves. So the thing about it is in TSA, we can thank the certain group of people that have changed the way we have to travel. I remember we didn't have to go through all these scanning stuffs back in the day. But anyways, they used to have various technologies out there. So without getting into backscatter units and all that, X-rays and so forth, we're talking about those little things you got to step into, and they go whoop, and they make that little revolver around you, which is a millimeter wave, very similar to the coming 5G. Well, it's actually already here. But okay, so point of the matter is this. It's about context. Listen, I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like taking off my damn shoes, right? I don't like getting randomly stopped. You've been randomly selected. Yeah, my applesauce. Okay, it's funny. So I don't like any of it. I'm not a big fan of travel in that sense because of a lot of other things. Because airports and airplanes are petri dishes under pressure. It is a gnarly soup of potential yuckity yuck. So the point is, what I want to also have people do is remember that your mind is a terrible thing to waste. And the reason why we oftentimes travel is either on business, which should be good for you because it's good for business and there's monetary attachment to said sacrifice, or vacation, which is wonderful for you as well. So if you go and you make all these things in your prefrontal cortex an issue, you're ruining the experience, you're making it worse for your body, and it just doesn't make sense. The problem is people will pick up on a thought or a principle and just beat it to death, okay? If you have an issue with radio frequency at the airports, then you shouldn't even be in the building, much less be worrying about stepping in and getting a half-second millimeter wave hit. Poop off, and you're in and out, okay? It's the same thing, like, oh my God, don't go and do an MRI machine if you ever get injured, because you're getting ready to get EMF like a champ for minutes. Okay, each of the frequencies, better described as wavelengths, has its pluses and minuses, things that can be better or worse. Okay, it's always dog poop on the carpet as far as I'm concerned. But really, what would you rather have? A little Chihuahua poop, bloop, or a Great Dane poop, bloop, on your carpet? Okay, so it all sucks. But my point is, don't get dogmatic and crazy in the membrane about going through the scanning invasion of travel. That's the take home. Now, comparatively speaking, that's conjecture, right? Now, what I haven't done is done any on-site Q square, M square of these devices and done all the calculations for power density. So what I do know is those scanners that are the millimeter waves, body scanners, they put out about 0.006 milliwatts per centimeter cubed. Okay, so that's not a lot, and it's basically one fraction of a second of a hit. Versus if you go to through opt out, because we're doing that protest, which I get the spirit of it. I don't do that because I don't want to be delayed. I don't want any further contact with all these morbidly obese, unhealthy, government working in people who I don't hold them in the best light at all. And it just makes no sense to me to expend that content, that amount of not content, that much of what's the word? In other words, that much time in their presence. I just don't want that. That's the context I'm saying. So in other words, I don't want to have that much time sitting there being patted down, swabbed, opening my stuff, looking at things, step over here to secondary and all that other kind of crap because you opt out because you didn't want a 0.2 of a millimeter wave. Okay? Now, if you want to do that, knock yourself out. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are on it. And I don't feel that anybody can say with any honesty that you can quantify going through a travel to your thing, boop, passing through one, going down to the Bahamas, having a good time for 4 days and 3 nights, drinking the coconut water and rum, and getting sunshine and laughing and having a good time and a lot of sympathetic engagement and a lot of parasympathetic engagement, and then you got to get back on the airplane, you go back through it another one, and you come back home. That's going to be a big deal. Now, for those of you that travel, bless your heart, it's a higher dose over time, of course. Now, the thing for me though is if you think about differences in what's the alternative, you're not going to get through security without being exposed to some radio frequency dose. Okay. As I understand it, those wands range anywhere from 20 kilohertz to the lower 300 kilohertz. And so then what ends up happening is they sit there and they down on your junk and down your ankles. And so you got a higher amount of delivery of an energy, which is of a different wavelength or frequency. So you have I don't know. I haven't done the calculations to give a metered answer. But for me, when I look at it, a split second of a millimeter wave versus multiple seconds of a kilohertz wave being wanded all over you like that, from an inch of your body. It seems more likely and probable that is an issue. So if you're waving off to go get the wand, you're creating all kinds of problems. The fact that they're going to look at you like an idiot, so now all of their infrared and their energy and their thoughts and their heart torus energy field is going to be getting you. You're going to be feeling all awkward. You're going to be in a position of, I'm protesting this. That's the reason why I don't want to go through the millimeter wave. And they're going to wand you. And then you got the spectacle of everybody watching you. And then you got the delay to get on your plane. And then they're digging through your bags and all that. So if that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. It's your free agency to do. Okay? So moral of the story, the millimeter wave scan at an airport is not a big deal in my eyes, even though I am a vehement opposition to EMF toxicity in one's environment. So there you have it. That's Dr. B's opinion on it, okay? So it all just depends, right? So we also talked about in the thread this because it's kind of just resurging. That's why I do TSA PreCheck, right? So I don't have to do all that. It's the best $80-some ever spent. But I don't want everybody knowing about TSA PreCheck because then the lines will be filled with a whole bunch of other people. So it's a little secret. You know, like I said, don't tell anybody who your tailor is because you'll never get in. All right, so there's ways to do that stuff. So if you go through PreCheck, you don't have to go just do the standard thing. So it sucks all around. Does that make sense, guys? So that's my opinion on that. I just don't think that we should make a big issue of it. If you travel a whole bunch, you're going to get it. Now, the next thing is when you're riding on an airplane, you're in a pressurized thing up in a higher altitude, not getting the cosmic ray EMF bands zipping through there at pressure, low humidity, which microbes absolutely love. Those cabins are generally in the 30 to 40% humidity on the regular. So you got that issue. So there's all kind, like travel is, dark and full of terrors. So you got to make, you got to pick your thing. So I hope that makes sense. In other words, don't go messing your brain up about all of that. One of the things that you can do is just bring you, if you want to do it, of course, just grab you one of these bad boys. So you can see here in my house, I ain't got none of that EMF crap. Yeah, that's right. That's right, all wired, baby. So an acoustometer. But in other words, take that on the airplane with you. Check, put it in your carry-on. And then open that bad boy up while you're on the airplane too. Bring your milligauss meter and take a look at that. And then bring your spectrometer and take a look at the lights that are in the airplane. And then bring your hygrometer meter with you. I've done all this. It's a fun little pack. And then, and then you take a look at the humidity in there. It sucks. Airplane travel blows. All right, so enough of that. All right, any questions in the chat window here of anyone who's on here? This kind of fun stuff. Let's take a look. Okay, no. Let me see here. See what you guys got. All right, that was my diatribe on that. Let's see here. What is a good thermometer, Carlos? The temporal scanner is fantastic. It's really, really good. So if that's what you want to know for a thermometer. Did you really just ask me about a thermometer? Weird question, but that's okay. I'm taking all questions. What is a good thermometer? Okay. Yeah, good thermometer. The Exogen temporal scanner. It's on all the advertisements and stuff like that. It's really good. You just put it on here and you go, whoop, and it takes the temperature of the veins that are on your temporal lobe. It's pretty awesome. Body temperature for kids that's 6 years old. Temperature for kids for 6 years old, they run a little warm. So normal body range is going to be like from ours, 98.6 up to about 100.1. They're little hot bodies because they're extremely catabolic and extremely anabolic. Mostly anabolic because they're just growing. And they also tend to be fast oxidizers. Most kids that are 6 years old, they're in fast oxidation. And they cranking out some heat. Okay, so mold testing. There's another thread in here about molds. Now, the reason why I wanted to follow up on this one is because it's a big topic, y'all. It's tough. Mold is tricky. Okay, it's tricky. Okay, so the thing about it is I'm not a fan of that either. Remember, I'm an environment guy. I have been all my life, in my entire career, everything like that. Okay. So the question was basically asked about the most cost-effective, quickest, and most reliable test for mold in a home. Okay, so here's the thing. And then what I did was I answered in that thread a sidebar because I love you, Balance Nation. I love all you guys. And Gina, who posed the question, is a lovely lady. She's awesome. And so the thing is, but at the same time, the questions really need to be dialed in for me to kind of give the stuff because they can really go off the rails. So I'm never a big fan of what's the best, anything best in the question. What's the best shoe? For what? Okay. What's the best fruit? For what? You know what I mean? What's the best meat? What's the best? I don't like those. So then we say cost effective. That's your clue. To me, cost effective is an adjective that is in the eye of the beholder, right? So quickest, that's another thing. Most reliable. So then when you try to start stacking these qualities of things in the question, it really binds my hands up, okay? So my answer was a simple DIY mold kit collection kit, which is these little tape things. So out there in the whole mold testing and remediation world, you've got various techniques, right? So you've got the little tape for a visual one that you can see. You've got the vacuum, capture thing. And then you've got the Swiffer method where you basically take a little wipe and you go and you grab a lot of things. Well, as you can probably look through and see what kind of transpired in that discussion, here's the thing about mold, okay? It's everywhere. And yes, there are a lot of species that are more harmful than others, potentially, right? So there's that. But then here's the thing, no matter what collection method you use, you don't know the origin, okay? You don't. You open your front door, all kinds of fungus, mold, spores can come in the house and just percolate. Okay, go in your returns for your HVAC system and be rebroadcast to everything like that. So even if we use an ERMI type collection, okay, Swiffer with the detection kind of stuff, the EMRI, and then we do the Swiffer or a wet cloth or a cloth collection and send that in. They take a look at it. Doesn't tell you where it's at. Doesn't it tell you, did it came from the neighbor's house? Did it come from the garden? Did it come from the garage? Or did you brought it on clothes? So again, origin doesn't matter. So in other words, if you go and you do a collection like that and you send it off to the lab, and you just pay a whole bunch of money to do it, and it comes back scary. Well, most of the labs don't give you a report anyways that's even worth a damn. They just kind of tell you what's in there and the volume of it. But anyways. And now you're all scared. Oh my God, I got all these things. And now you want to start telling you all the problems that you're having because of mold and mycotoxins. Well, there's tons of that mold on your food. You didn't even test your food. Hell, the father of fraud, Dave Asprey, made a whole career and a brand out of the whole mold / mycotoxins on coffee narrative, right? Which was completely conflated. But yet it's based upon some true stuff because, coffee, it does have its potential perils when it comes to mold. But again, so you don't know if you grinded some coffee in your grinder, or if you're using a little super automatic like I use, and you see those little coffee pucks go down in there, and they're no matter, even if you have high quality coffee, you leave them in there, you can see some mold grow on them if you don't empty it out. Anyways, there's all kinds of things. The ramble is really simple, guys. Mold is tricky as hell, and if you can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not there. Okay, that's the thing. So what I understand the mind screw, what I call the mental masturbation of we can't reach the potential source. Well, if you're going to go for it, you better go for it. Yeah, it's not about ease. It's not about cost. It's about what's the endpoint that you're wanting to assess. And you got to go through the proper way of doing it. So the way that I simply answer that question is some of these simple mold test kits to push it, a little tape onto a place that you see it and send it off. It is not, of course, the most accurate, and it's not the most cost effective, but yet it's less expensive. I mean, there's different things. So all these adjectives make the context. Okay, so I really want you to understand that when I answer questions in Balanced Nation, I'm then doing the best I can to form the answer around the parameters or the constraints of the question. Because remember, communication is highly voice inflection, tonality, cadence, body posture, and language, right? So I'm never, anything but happy and joyous and loving to you guys on camera because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing when I'm answering it, doing this, okay? So I try to be short and effective. That's why you'll see in my style, I use a lot of dots because I try to mimic typing out the answer to pauses in what I'm saying. See what I mean? So I use that a lot. So anyways, the reason why I didn't like Enviro Biomix company is because there's other companies. Well, which companies? I'm not going to get into all of that because it requires context. Okay? I do that on purpose. I don't mean to sandbag, but I got to sandbag because it just opens up a whole bunch of other things. Okay? All right, so let's look at some questions. Guevars, love you too. Looking fresh and young, by the way. That's what's up. That's right. Lovely and delicious. So I had a few days off. I did my digital detox. I wasn't in here. I wasn't banned. I just didn't get on Facebook and stuff. I had some great family here over Christmas. It was amazing. It was lovely. Fried a turkey and some poofas. I always like to talk about that. And did my world famous prime rib. Just absolutely smothered in butter and garlic. It's amazing. Anyways, all right, so here's the thing. So go back to everybody who's coming in here late, watch this. So, surprise. I didn't even want to put it in the title of me coming on here, but guess what will be live on January 1st? Bum, bum, bum. Balance Protocol Enviro 2.0. Going live January 1st, guys. Couple more hours or days, if you will. It will be open and available to Balance Nation first before I release it to my mailing list, before I release it to anybody else or other interested parties. You guys are going to be able to get in there first. Not that it really matters, but it's kind of cool. But boom, it's finally happening, y'all. Can you let me know more about the cold hands and feet after drinking the pure grain alcohol? 2.0. Mark, what do you mean? Let me know more about the cold hands and cold feet. So you get cold hands and cold feet after drinking the pure grain alcohol? Is that what you're saying? Carlos, not going to give the link, not going to state it, not going to tell you where to find it, and all that kind of stuff until it's ready, because it's in beta right now. So I have my testers going through it and making sure I didn't have too many typos or links that are broken and all the other kind of fun stuff. So it's going to be amazing. So BPE 1.0 was amazing. It's wonderful. But what I did was I redid the content, digitally remastered it, reshot a bunch of stuff in 4K and a whole bunch of other do-it-yourself videos and things of that nature. So you guys are going to learn everything about air, water, light, sound, EMF, and food that you need to start. You also are going to get all the basics and the fundamentals of what is balance protocol, what is learning and living life in balance. You're going to get that part for free. No, your answer early this week. 1 second. Okay. So Mark, what you're talking about is to say, so if you do have cold hands, cold feet, ethical bribe is not on. No, that was a limited time. But Erica, yours applies because you gave me that. So okay. That's right. BPE does equal the dangling carrot. The dangling carrot, which is better than a dangling participle. Remember that back in school? Yes. Okay, Mark, did you do that? Did you drink a little bit of grain alcohol when the hands and feet were cold? That's what I want to know. Yes, because that's all I can tell you about that, is to try that. Little known fact is the pancreas produces alcohol every day, and it is a part of thermal regulation. Boom. Just like other fermentable species that are in circulation can cause the production of alcohol, which can also make you red and flushed and inflamed and fun things like that. Not yet. VA doesn't sell. Oh my goodness. Man, you can't get a hold of a little bit of alcohol. All right. Any alcohol will do. You can get vodka anyways. You got to make a road trip. What are you talking about? VA, Virginia doesn't sell alcohol? What? All right, guys. All right. Well, that's it. No more questions, I guess, for me. Just want to pop on here, made a couple clarifications. Hope that ramble makes sense to you. Remember, it's all about the balanced understanding, and everything here is my opinion. Feel free to keep a different opinion and act and live your life as you wish. You can either take it or you can leave it, and that's the thing. But if you want to be lovely and delicious and live life in balance, you might want to follow the lead on that. Don't be dogmatic about it. Go on a trip. Take a vacaciones and enjoy it. Don't let the mind part of the journey getting there be all messed up. Cornet meter, not a fan. Trying to do too many things at once. Is it decent to kind of wet your whistle and it's, you know, mediocre at best? Yes, the tri-field for the original one, that sucks. I don't even recommend people start with that. But again, it's about cost. Well, it's going to cost you more in the end by not having proper equipment to assess. So if you're going to do it right. If you don't have the money for meters, well, then sell something in your garage. That's what you need to do, okay? I go over all of those meters and what I recommend in Module 7 of BPE 2.0. Okay? All right, guys. It's time for me to do some other stuff. Just want to pop on here. Miss you. Love you. Couple more days. BPE 2.0 is going to roll out, okay? It's going to be awesome sauce. It's an investment, but it's totally worth it. And then also, just while I'm sitting here, you know, blowing all this stuff up, in February, my own platform will be released. So we will have a place unfettered for you guys to talk. It looks a lot like Facebook. Operates, different groups you guys can start, different topics, all kinds of fun things. It's going to be amazing. Let's do it. All right. So anyways, guys, love you bunches. Hang in there. And BPE 2.0 is coming out, right? So keep your questions coming. I'll do my best to serve you guys. Live life in balance. Love you. Catch you on the flip.